Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, the series starts with our MC, Mao. Hearing her father call out to her, asking Mao to deliver some medicine to the Verdigris house, but to be careful of kidnappers. As Mao heads into town, we see a gorgeous woman, Perrin, renowned as one of the 3 famous princesses of the Verdigris houses, catch the attention of all the men in town. Having dropped off the medicine at the Verdigris house, Mao begins writing up some notes on her most recent experiment, but is interrupted by Perrin, worried that Mao's experiments are harming her. Just then, the granny of the Verdigris house greets Mao, reminding Mao to not perform any risky experiments, wondering if Mao would like to service people and earn a little bit of cash as a courtesan. Not wanting any part of the offer, Mao swiftly leaves, telling Granny that she had left her medicine, but right as Mao leaves, the other 2 princesses appear, sad to not see Mao. As Mao heads home, she passes by herb field, ecstatic to be collecting such luscious herbs, but suddenly is interrupted by some thieves. Kidnapped and taken away, Mao gets worried that her father will be stressed about her disappearance, but at the same time, we see a blue-haired lady, Lady Lahua, give birth to a boy, and a red-haired lady, Lady Gyokuyu, give birth to a girl, both at the same time. As 3 months pass by, we follow Mao, now working in the rear of the emperor's palace, where women are raised with the intention of giving birth to the emperor's children. The rear palace forbids any ordinary men, only allowing relatives of the emperor or eunuchs, male workers that have lost limbs and are unable to work normal jobs. The overall location houses 2,000 concubines and servants combined along with 1,000 eunuchs, but Mao knows that since she is a serving girl, her life is expendable. Mao also notes how there are shut-in concubines, but Mao can't really complain about her current job, as she at least gets paid. Running into a fellow service girl, Xiaolon, Mao helps guide Xiaolon to her delivery location, sad to see that girls are taught the bare minimum to work here, knowing that even servants like her have the opportunity to become low-ranking concubines, but due to her childlike body, Mao brushes that thought aside. That evening, Mao chats with Xiaolon, learning that there have been rumors of a very handsome eunuch that had been spotted in the rear palace. That night, we see a very handsome man, Jinshi, checking up on Lady Lahua and Lady Gyokuyu. Sad to see that Lady Lahua is losing weight and growing ill, but is also terrified that both ladies' children are mysteriously falling ill. The next day, Xiaolon reveals to Mao that there have been rumors of a curse plaguing the rear palace, as all 3 of the emperor's children have mysteriously passed away. Apparently, this curse is also occurring to the blue-haired lady, Lady Lahua, and the red-haired lady, Lady Gyokuyu as well. Mao states that since Lady Lahua gave birth to a boy, she would be considered the empress consort and the higher ranking of the 2 women, but there are rumors that the emperor favors Lady Gyokuyu, meaning a power struggle is inevitable. Whilst eating, Mao also hears Xiaolon mention how Lady Lahua is getting sick as well, exhibiting symptoms of headache, stomachache and nausea. Having worked as an apothecary back in her village, Mao begins deducing possible causes that may have led to the symptoms, suspecting that someone must have poisoned Lady Lahua, but rules that thought out after some more thinking. Wondering if the cause is something passed down hereditarily, Mao wonders why she cares so much about rumors, but cheekily remarks that she should at least go and see if the rumors are true. Upon entering a more high-ranking area of the palace, Mao spots a crowd forming around the malnourished Lahua, who is accusing Gyokuyu of cursing her child. Not wanting things to get out of hand, Jinshi is called to stop the fight, but as Mao gets a closer look at Lahua, she manages to pinpoint the cause of this supposed curse, passing by Jinshi as Mao wonders how she can help without exposing herself. Choosing to tie a note onto a mysterious flower, Mao's message is ultimately ignored, leading to Lady Liwa's boy sadly passing away. Cutting to Gyokuyu, she is seen having a private meeting with Jinshi, revealing that she had received a mysterious message a while ago, telling everyone that the rhododendron flower that the message was tied to had a white part that was poisonous. Sadly, the palace physicians had ignored the message, but Gyokuyu would like to know who was the genius that gave them the message, asking Jinshi to track down the genius. Having suspicions of who this person could be, we cut to Xiaolon and Mao on their break, gossiping about any new updates regarding the emperor, but suddenly one of the eunuchs asks for the girls to head to a part of the palace. Upon entering the assigned room, Jinshi appears, greeting the girls and introducing himself as the manager of the rear palace. Without saying another word, Jinshi writes a message on a piece of paper, asking only girls with freckles to remain in the room. Afterwards, Jinshi asks everyone to leave, shocking Mao, as she realizes she was the only one that can read, meaning Jinshi has found his target. Asking Mao to come quietly, Jinshi and Mao begin heading through the palace, with Jinshi revealing that he had looked into Mao, and records said Mao couldn't read, but wanting to not stand out, Mao feigns ignorance. As they enter a different part of the palace, Mao prays that she doesn't get punished for anything, but upon entering Gyokuyu's room, Mao shows relief, seeing Gyokuyu's daughter, Xiaoling, is alive and healthy. Not wanting to take credit for saving Gyokuyu's Xiaoling's life, Mao tries to feign ignorance once again, but Jinshi pulls out the message received a while ago, stating that he knows the cloth used to write it was most likely from the skirt from a girl working with clothes. With no other reason to hide, Mao reveals that she had figured out that the white powder concubines used to appear paler as poisonous, having seen various women in her village continue to use the white powder, but at the cost of their lives. Mao also adds that she was able to identify the poison, due to being an apothecary, having knowledge in medicine overall. Hearing this, Gyokuyu states that a while ago, she was given the same white powder, but upon discovering that her child along with the nurse that provided the white powder was getting ill, Gyokuyu had stopped using it entirely, ultimately sparing her baby's life. Apparently, Gyokuyu had tried to warn Lahua about the white powder, but Lahua wouldn't listen. Fearing what is to come next, Mao asks what Gyokuyu plans to do with her, but with a cheerful smile, Gyokuyu states that Mao from today will be Gyokuyu's lady-in-waiting, just like an assistant. As Mao walks through the rear palace, Mao wonders if her being discovered is a good or bad thing, but at the same time, we see several soldiers suddenly collapse, suspecting that they've been poisoned. Seeing their men get poisoned, the leader of the soldiers accused the village leader for assisting the enemies, but just then we cut back to Jinshi, who has just learned of poisoning to their soldiers. Changing topics for a bit, one of the eunuchs asks Jinshi about Gyokuyu's new attendant, but Jinshi states that compared to Liwa's 10 attendants, Gyokuyu only has 4. But Jinshi reiterates that Gyokuyu is quite smart, only choosing attendants that she can trust, which explains why Mao is a candidate, as her knowledge of medicine is too valuable. Hearing the eunuch fear that Mao may abuse her new positions as Gyokuyu's attendant, Jinshi reasons that he should seduce Mao a bit. The next morning, Mao is seen packed up, chatting to Xiaolong, as she begins making her way to the Jade Pavilion, where Gyokuyu lives. Just then, Mao spots Jinshi flirting with several women, only to turn to greet Mao, following up by grazing Mao's hair in an attempt to seduce her, but this only weirds Mao out. Upon arriving at the Jade Pavilion, Mao is greeted by Hongyang, the head lady in waiting for Gyokuyu, who offers to show Mao around the Jade Pavilion. First visiting Gyokuyu, who warmly welcomes Mao to her new home, remarking that her child Xiaoling also is happy to see her. Next, Hongyang shows Mao the guest waiting room, the kitchen and living room where all the ladies in waiting are cleaning. Introducing themselves as Yinghua, Gaiyuan, Ailan, but when Mao introduces herself, all the girls notice Mao's wrapped-up arm. Hongyang states that there are no service girls in the Jade Pavilion, meaning that the 5 of them will have to do all of the work around here, but when Mao offers to help them clean up, the ladies stop Mao asking that she rest up for now, alluding to a special job that Mao will have to do later on. As Mao leaves, 3 of the girls begin speculating on Mao's tragic past, collectively shedding a tear for Mao. Showing Mao to her room, Hongyang instructs Mao to rest until she is summoned. Amazed at the spacious room, Mao is amazed at the promotion, knowing that only elites are normally hired to attend to such royals. That evening, it's revealed that Mao's special role is poison tasting, but Mao can't help but get excited at tasting such luxurious food. Jinshi reveals it is a serious role as when Gyokuyu was pregnant, people had tried to poison her twice, with the food tester being paralyzed after tasting the poisoned food. Starting with the first dish, Mao checks for any distinct marks or scents, only to finally taste the food, noting no numbness and concluding that the first dish is fine. As Mao makes her way through other dishes, Mao thinks about how she would run various experiments using poison when she lived with her father, meaning that she has grown immune to most poisons. That night, Mao advises Gyukuyu to switch the ceramic dishes for silver, as silver will react with most poisons. Amazed, Gyukuyu reveals that they had purposely used ceramic dishes to test Mao's logic, wondering why Mao doesn't reveal that she can read, write and has knowledge in medicine and poisons. Mao states that her kidnappers take most of the money she makes, intriguing Gyukuyu as she knows Mao doesn't want to give the kidnappers any more money. Turning to Mao, Gyukuyu hands Mao a large teapot, dropping it before Mao can grab a hold of it, only to wink at Mao as Gyukuyu states that she'll have to deduct damages out of her normal pay, but since she helped with poison testing earlier, Gyukuyu hands Mao a payment equal to her regular salary, that can't be touched by the kidnappers, impressing Mao as it's a loophole that Gyukuyu is using to help her. The next day, Mao is told to once again rest, only called to test meals that may be poisoned, but easily gets bored. Just then, Mao is called by Gyukuyu and Jinshi, who once again tries to seduce Mao, but no luck. Showing Mao a case of Baozi buns, Jinshi asks for Mao to check the authenticity of the food, but upon smelling the buns, Mao detects an aphrodisiac in the food. Amazed, Jinshi admits that he knew of the aphrodisiac in the food, which weirds Mao out, believing that Jinshi wanted her to eat it, making Gyukuyu laugh. Getting serious, Jinshi reveals that a group of soldiers had reported being poisoned not so long ago, exhibiting signs of nausea, difficulty breathing and other ailments. Due to suspicions, the soldiers had planned to punish the head of the village, but luckily one of the officers convinced otherwise, putting the punishment on hold. Asking if the soldiers ate outside, Mao realizes the cause of the issue, heading to a nearby rhododendron flower to explain. Chewing on one of the flower petals, Mao states that the flower gives the same symptoms listed, but in some cases, wood from trees can cause the same symptoms when burnt, making Jinshi realize that the soldiers did indeed use wood to start a fire. Relieved that the soldiers didn't harm the innocent villagers, Jinshi wonders if Mao can make him an aphrodisiac. Hearing this, Mao gets excited, knowing that she'll finally get to experiment with making various drugs, replying that she can try given the proper equipment. That night as Jinshi returns to his office, a random concubine attempts to seduce Jinshi, but Jinshi blatantly rejects her offer. Chatting with an eunuch, Jinshi reveals that he has been stationed here by the emperor, to test the loyalty of his concubines, but it's sad to see that most concubines end up betraying the emperor's trust. As Jinshi thinks about Mao, he admits that Mao is the only girl that is not attracted to him, making Jinshi curious as to what may convince her otherwise. The next morning, Mao visits the quack doctor, running into Gaoshin, Jinshi's assistant. As the quack doctor judges Mao for being a mere servant, Gaoshin guides Mao to a storage room, overwhelming Mao as she gets to experiment with all sorts of materials. As Mao is gleefully dancing, Jinshi interrupts, forcing Mao to get to work. As Mao begins writing up some things, she's amazed at how much paper she gets to use, pleased that Gaoshin is a quick learner compared to Jinshi who's standing idly by. Upon checking to see if there is enough cacao, Mao is disappointed to see a lack in supply, but Jinshi reassures Mao that he can easily obtain more. Back at the Jade Pavilion, Mao has gathered milk, butter, sugar, honey and powdered cacao, intriguing the other girls, as those are all expensive ingredients. As Hongyang orders the other girls to stop slacking, we see Mao finally begin to craft the aphrodisiac, stating that she had tasted cacao only once in the past, in the form of chocolate, which is considered an aphrodisiac. With everything mixed, Mao leaves the concoction to harden, but Mao also gets the idea of turning the leftovers into brownies, setting them on a shelf as she cleans up the mess. As Mao passes through the courtyard, she suddenly spots various herbs growing on the field, distracted by the various herbs, only to rush back to the kitchen where she sees everyone waiting for her. Apparently, the three girls had snacked on the brownies, and are now too exhausted to work. Presenting her chocolate and brownies to Gyukuyu and Jinshi, Mao warns that the aphrodisiacs are quite potent, and that they are 3 times as effective as most stimulants. As Gyukuyu leaves, she remarks that Mao is not knowledgeable with medicine but also can make drugs. With Jinshi and Mao alone. Jinshi kisses Mao on the back of her neck, only to leave. That night, we follow a lady walking through the palace, only to spot a mysterious figure high up on the palace walls, malnourished and pale. Check out one of our other videos on the screen or in the info card above. Subscribe, like and comment.